I'm your host, James Yoder from Chat Sports. It's the Michigan Football Report signing day question and answer live mailbag, taking questions on our Wednesday live show. Posting this on the weekend as well. So thanks so much for watching, everyone who watched live and are watching here on demand as well. Let's take some Michigan football questions using hashtag Michigan here on the show. Mr. Bombastic. That's like a rap lyrics. Mr. Bombastic. It's Shaggy, I think. Does Michigan need to change their approach in NIL or run the risk of being left in the dust of schools like Texas? There's no doubt about it. Right? There's no doubt about it. If you think about, look, let's just use the history of college football for example. What's the difference between Harvard and Yale and Army and Navy, schools that were winning national titles 100 years ago, even 60, 70 years ago in the 30s, 40s, into the 50s? Army and Navy were still competitive at national level in the 60s, right? It's the scholarship, right? Harvard, Yale, Princeton, those schools, Ivy League schools, don't do athletic scholarships anymore. And so why, if you're a top recruit, you're a smart kid, would go to an Ivy League school, you're not going to go to Harvard and have to pay your own way. You're going to go to Michigan. You're going to go to Notre Dame. You're going to go to Stanford. You're going to go to Cal if you want academics and athletics. And that's what's going to play out in the future. There will be haves and have-nots. Michigan better get on board with the haves. Put together a pool. I'll administrate it if you want. If you, Jim Harbaugh, Michigan's recruiting department, if you're watching this like I know you always do, here is my deal to you. I will sign it. I'll send a deal. You guys introduce me to the people you want to, the boosters. We'll put money in the Michigan NIL fund, and we'll make this thing. Any recruit who wants to come on and announce with us $50,000 if you're going to Michigan. If you're a 4-star guy, $100,000 if you're a 5-star, and then players once you're there, weekly appearances, $10,000. Right? Cool. We got it. We've done. NIL is solved for Michigan right here between Mr. Bombastic and me here on the Michigan Football Report. Antonio Coleman, thank you for the question. What does our starting DBs look like? It's not going to be much different, right? Next year, you're going to have Vincent Gray. You're going to have DJ Johnson, the starting corners this year. Gemon Green expected to be back, but he's kind of been passed over. We'll see what happens with Will Johnson, right? Does he come in and make an instant impact? Is he a guy who rotates in a bunch? Or does Michigan play him sparingly on special teams as a first-year player? I expect him to play, but I doubt he starts next year. Rod Moore will be one of your starting safeties, and then there'll be a bunch of other guys, including R.J. Moden and a handful of other players that will compete for that secondary. But Michigan's got at least their starting cornerbacks coming back. Starting safety, Rod Moore, a guy who started the last 4 games of the year, and then 5 or 6 freshmen that can make an impact. I don't think any will start immediately, but Rod Moore, remember, 3-star, 1,000th best player in the country last year. He was starting by about the 10th game of his freshman year. Here's the question, though, for you guys. We had that question coming in there about Michigan's secondary. Does Will Johnson, Michigan's 5-star, highest rated player in this class, cornerback, does he start at any point as a true freshman in this 2022 class? This is the point of the video where YouTube might get you an ad break, so I'll pin this comment or this question below the video. Scroll on down, answer the question. Let me know, does Will Johnson start as a true freshman? Scroll back up, and the ad will probably be over, and we'll continue on with the video. Next question coming in from Average Gamer. It must be Gamer Dude's brother, right? You got this guy, Gamer Dude, awesome. Maybe you're an Ohio State fan, so if that's the case, he's a bum, but this is his brother, Average Gamer. With all the commits today, how do you feel now going into 2022 versus how you felt before? I mean, look, I have never felt worse about a Michigan football team than going into this 2021 season, right? And that makes me wrong. That says I don't know anything. Guilty as charged, I guess. But the turnaround Jim Harbaugh had this year is the reason why he's the AP National Coach of the Year. It's why Michigan has they've got a Heisman Trophy runner-up in Aiden Hutchinson. They've got multiple All-Americans. They've got the best kicker in college football. And they lost the best running back in the Pac-12, Zach Charbonnet. They lost, potentially, like a guy who signed last year, Xavier Worthy, the best wide receiver for Texas. And then they lost a bunch of guys who are in the NFL, right? One of the top schools for producing NFL draft picks. But they had guys who wanted to play for Michigan and guys who were committed to what Harbaugh wanted to run. So I am feeling 5 billion times better about Michigan going into 2022 than I did 2021. Michigan will be a top 5 team in the country going into next year's polls, the preseason. If they beat Georgia, they're top 3. If they beat Georgia and Alabama, win the national title, Michigan's your preseason number 1. Guaranteed 100% facts if they win the national championship and go head toe-to-toe with, obviously, Georgia and likely Alabama. John Blaze with the Super Chat. Thank you so much, John. I'm assuming it's the same John Blaze from Twitter as well. So, I've been interacting with him on Twitter for probably a couple of years at this point. Go Blue. who will be our next game changers on defense and on offense. I mean, I don't know if next is the right word for game changer, but Diamond Edwards is a superstar in the making next year. I'm really excited to see what Michigan, and now Josh Gass appears, unless something changes with another job coming open. He'll be the OC next year, and Michigan staff should stay intact. Almost every guy I expect to come back. So what they did with Diamond Edwards, from catching 10 passes in one game to then throwing a touchdown pass, having a running touchdown, he will be all over the field for Michigan, and on special teams, I expect him to be the starting kick returner next year. So chug me down for Diamond Edwards. Also one, Andrell Anthony. Right? He had a big game against Michigan State. Didn't get him involved, but you can see the athleticism. Reminds me of a Braylon Edwards, just exuding size and athleticism and the ability to go up, which Michigan has rarely had in the last few years, and out-jump a defender and make a catch. Defensive side of the ball, I'm going to say Junior Colson is the guy who will be the breakout star of next year's Michigan football team. He started 7, 8, 9 games this year, taking over for Nikai Hill-Green, and he'll, of course, start next year and I think be the breakout star of this defense. Michigan's going to play Georgia in 2 weeks, folks. And if you want to make some money, win when Michigan wins, get that bankroll going and doing with the best deposit bonus in the game. Get going with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/blue. Go blue. If you do that, it'll track you to this promotion. All you got to do is make your first deposit and type in that promo code GOBLUE. No spaces. Type in GOBLUE, and you'll get a 125% deposit bonus. Use that to put money on some bowl games. Look, betting on bowl games is actually the funnest thing. You can put $10, $5 in every game, and you get this deposit bonus. You put 100, you got 225. You can put $5 in every single bowl game, and everything means a little bit more to you. And hey, put a 50 burger on Michigan money line. It's like plus 220 or something like that right now. You'll get your 50 back, plus you have like $125 in winnings. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Use BetUS, our preferred sportsbook partner, with that promo code GOBLUE. It's time to put our, what on the table. Put them on the table, folks. We're recording this. Document this, Marshall. Wink, wink. Everyone says yes or no. We're gonna write this down from the live chat and on demand afterwards, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna go through everyone's answer on a show coming up here on January 1st or 2nd, the post game show. Anyone who's doubting Michigan now, roll call. I think Michigan's gonna win. Right? That's not me being a Michigan homer, a BS or anything like that. I've been telling you all year, and I think Michigan's gonna win and lose. I think the offensive game plan they can bring to the table against Georgia can score 25, 30, 40 points even if they get it rolling. I just don't see where Georgia can score 30 points on Michigan. I honestly don't see it. And if you get the Reapers, David Hutchinson and Aiden Hutchinson and David Ojabo, if they're making the plays like they have all season, I mean, it's lights out for Georgia's quarterback game. And hell, Georgia, they might only score 10, 14 points in this one. So I'm going with yes. In the live chat, almost unanimous yeses. I'm going to see if I see any no's really quick here. I'm going to call them out. Nope, no no's. No no's. It's all 100% yes. We'll see what the on-demand Michigan Football Report audience thinks on this one as well. Super chat coming in is, you can't spell dumb mooks without bucks. That's the F word. So if you just take bucks, replace with the S. I've seen you can't spell blank sucker without OSU before. I like this one too. You can't spell dumb mooks without bucks. I had some people complaining about the swearing after the Ohio State game, more than normal. So I'm gonna keep the swear words down a little bit here on this one. But he says, just got a Mays Jordan jersey for the Georgia game. Go Blue. What are your thoughts on us beating Ohio State next year if Ryan Day goes to the Bears? I mean, if Ryan Day goes to the Bears, Ohio State might have a coaching upgrade, right? Luke Fickell could play against Alabama, lose, and slide over to that Ohio State job pretty easily. Although, hey, Michigan did beat him in his one season as interim coach in 2011. I feel good no matter what happens against Michigan going forward, because the passing game, Ohio State, and programs like Alabama and Clemson and Oklahoma and others have shown over the last years, I don't see any way Michigan can ever beat any of these teams, because they just can't stop these passing offenses. Justin Fields destroyed Michigan. Dwayne Haskins destroyed Michigan. Mac Jones destroyed Michigan when he was the backup in the bowl game a couple years ago. But now Jim Harbaugh has figured it out. He brought a system that doesn't put these cornerbacks on islands. Like, you don't have David Long and Jordan Lewis back there. You can't put under-talented cornerbacks on islands in one-on-one coverage, especially putting your fourth safety on a slot receiver. But Michigan's figured it out right now. So whatever happens going forward, whether it's Michigan or facing a passing attack like Alabama, I think Michigan's going to have the right game plan. It's whether or not they can execute and come up with the right calls at the right time. And you always need maybe a little bit of luck against these big-time football teams to get the win. Bosa, beat Ohio State again. Want to beat Ohio State again. It's a past tense, right? We beat Ohio State again, but I want to keep going forward. So, Yoder killing with Shane Johnson. I like that comment. Yoder killing with a 2-hour show. You're damn right we are. Type BOSA in the comments. BOSA. Let's beat Ohio State again in 2020. I want to keep it rolling. I don't want Michigan to be all of a sudden Ohio State to say, well, you beat us that one time. We just roll off 3 straight. I love to see Michigan get 2 in a row. I think the dynamic of this rivalry is kind of flipped, and Michigan has all the momentum going into next year. So let's keep the momentum going with us. Don't forget about it. Every single day is beat Ohio State again day, so type BOSA in the comments. Last comment here on the live show. Will Johnson, by the way, I've seen the comments. He might have just signed. So if you're watching this, Will Johnson looks like he has officially signed his letter of intent. Brady Schwartzberg says, is Micah Pollard more of a pass rusher linebacker or a true linebacker or more of a linebacker safety? It's a pretty detailed question there, guy. It's really what happens in this system, whether it's Mike McDonald, and he'll be there next year as Michigan's defense coordinator, but you never know what system Michigan is, but will run, what coordinator. They've changed system wildly year over year from Don Brown. He might have been a what's the hybrid role Michigan had, Brett, the Don Brown, I'm forgetting the name of the role. But I think he's more of a rush. Viper role, yeah, I'm sorry. What's the name of the role? He probably would have been a Viper under Don Brown, but this is a little bit different of a defense. And under this defense, linebackers need to be able to cover wide receivers and tight ends. And so that's one of the strengths that he has. Michigan, throughout this entire class, every single position that they've recruited for has seemed to be about having speed to compete with the top-level teams like Georgia, like Ohio State, like Alabama. And I think that that Micah Pollard is right in there with those same kind of guys. So I expect him to be able to cover receivers and tight ends much more than I'll probably lie him on being a pass rusher.